Welcome to the deep dive. We're bypassing the noise, getting you straight to the core knowledge you need.
Right, and today we're doing that with Chapter 6 from Adam Grant's Think Again.
Yeah, this one's called Bad Blood on the Diamond. Sounds intense.
It is. It really digs into the psychology behind rivalries, especially, sports fans, why people get so incredibly worked up.
And we know you want the key insights, like fast but still deep. So expect some maybe surprising facts here.
Definitely some aha moments, but hopefully without feeling swamped by info. This chapter is full of them.
Okay, let's get right into it then. The intensity. Anyone into sports just knows this feeling, right? That real dislike for the other team.
Oh, yeah. The book uses the classic Yankees versus Red Sox example.
Right, and what's fascinating, Grant points this out, is how the fans on both sides use almost the same insults.
Uh-huh. Like the smell like old corn chips thing, or mocking accents, even beards, apparently.
It seems so. Irrational
So
sometimes,
bad.
doesn't it? I mean, as fans, we don't win or lose money based on the game.
Not directly, no, but the feelings are just incredibly strong. And actually, the research Grant cites shows something really counterintuitive.
Okay.
It suggests fans often get more pleasure, believe it or not, from their rival team losing.
More than their own team winning. Seriously.
Yeah, there was a study specifically on Red Sox and Yankees fans that pretty clearly showed this. It's wild.
That is wild. The idea that someone else's failure brings more joy than your own success, it kind of flips things on their head.
It does. If you've ever, felt that little thrill when the rival team messes up, even if your team isn't playing, well, that's it.
Yeah, I think many people can relate to that, maybe secretly. The chapter also mentions basking in reflected glory, right?
Briefly, yeah. That feeling of connection when your team wins, like you somehow achieved something too.
Right. But this rivalry thing, it's not just about neighbors, is it? Not just geography.
No, not at all. Grant mentions a study looking at, the most hated baseball teams on Twitter. The hate spans the whole country.
So it's not just local derby stuff.
Definitely not. It suggests the psychology behind it is much deeper than just where you live.
Huh. Makes you think. And it spills over, doesn't it? Into other parts of life.
Oh, absolutely. There's that amazing story in the chapter about the Puma and Adidas rivalry in Germany.
Oh, the brothers who split.
Yeah. Started by brothers, split a whole town, families, the community, everything divided for decades over running shoes, essentially.
Wow. That's a powerful example of how these loyalties, even ones that seem kind of random, can just take over.
And it leads into maybe a slightly darker aspect the chapter explores.
Okay.
How this intense us versus them feeling, this rivalry, can actually push people towards, unethical behavior.
Like what?
Research suggests people might be more willing to lie or cheat, even just slightly, if it helps their side or hurts the rival.
That's a bit concerning, that our competitive spirit could kind of nudge us over a line we wouldn't normally cross.
Yeah. And it's not just big things. Graham points out it happens even in silly online arguments. Like, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, that old chestnut. People get really worked up about that.
Exactly. They take sides so passionately. It mirrors that same tribal rivalry instinct.
So, okay, if these rivalries are so powerful and maybe even a bit negative sometimes, can we do anything about it? Can we challenge that animosity?
Well, that's where the chapter introduces something called counterfactual thinking.
Counterfactual. Okay, break that down. It's like asking what if.
Pretty much, yeah. Playing the what if game. So for that Red Sox fan, it's asking, okay, what if I had been born in New York? Would I automatically hate the Yankees?
Okay. Trying to get people to see how maybe arbitrary their loyalty is, or at least the hatred part.
Precisely. The goal is to kind of destabilize those really fixed negative stereotypes, make people question why they feel so strongly.
And there was an experiment on this with the Yankees and Red Sox fans again.
Yep. They asked them to list good things and bad things about the other team's fans. But crucially, they also asked those what-if questions.
Like the what if you were born there one?
Exactly. Trying to get them to see the other side, maybe, as more complex than just the enemy. To recognize their own beliefs might be, complicated.
Did it work? Did asking what if actually, reduce the hostility?
The findings were interesting. It seems that simply highlighting how kind of random the basis for the hostility often is can soften it.
So just making people aware that, hey, you could easily have been on the other side.
Yeah. When you consider that your allegiance might just be down to chance, like where you were born, it can chip away at that really rigid us versus them hatred.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's zoom out. What does this tell us beyond baseball or football? How does this rivalry psychology play out elsewhere,
Well, that's the really valuable insight, isn't it? The book suggests the same basic psychological mechanics are at play in lots of other divisions.
like politics or social groups?
Absolutely. That tendency we have to sort of stereotype or even dehumanize people we see as being in the outgroup, it happens all over.
We just love putting things in us and them boxes, don't we?
We really do. And the lesson from looking at sports rivalries, according to Grant, is that those boxes are often built on pretty shaky, arbitrary foundations.
So if we understand that,
Then maybe encouraging ourselves and others to do that what if thinking, to consider different perspectives, the shared humanity. Maybe that's a way to start bridging divides, even bigger ones.
right. So if we're to boil down this whole dive into bad blood on the diamond, the main takeaway is what?
I'd say it's that the really intense negative feelings in rivalries, the ones that feel so personal, so deep, they often come from factors that are, well, surprisingly random.
Like where you happen to grow up or which shoe brand your dad preferred back in the day.
Exactly. So we'd encourage you, listening, to maybe think about the what ifs in your own life. Those groups or people you have strong negative feelings about. Where did that start? Could it have easily been different?
Yeah, challenge those assumptions a bit. Which leads us to a final thought to leave you with.
Could understanding this psychology, this bad blood on the diamond, could it actually give us a kind of playbook
A playbook for what?
for cooling things down, for de-escalating tensions in other areas of life, maybe ones that matter a lot more than sports?
Hmm. Could the lessons from, Yankees fans and Red Sox fans actually help us deal with bigger societal conflicts?
It's a provocative question, right? Something to definitely think about. Could those insights from the stands translate to the wider world? Worth pondering.